one more of these, and then we'll move into just questions from the audience. I guess this is a face-to-face conciliation question. In a face-to-face conciliation question, this person's experience is that the education department is not allowed to have their lawyer present unless the parent also has a lawyer in the room. But in a telephone conciliation hearing, if the parent is in a rural area, how can the parent be sure who's sitting beside the education department rep at the other end of the phone providing legal advice?
Well, I haven't heard of that rule.
The microphone's back.
Oh, okay, cool, thanks. I haven't heard of that rule that, if one side doesn't have a lawyer, the other side can't.
It must be what the conciliator did in their particular case.
I think that's probably right, and I don't have a problem with it. I think when I was a conciliator, I used to take that approach because certainly having a lawyer in the room impacts on or can impact. It doesn't always. Some lawyers are really useful at conciliation conferences because they provide what mediators call the agent of reality. So what they do is they take the person aside, during a break in the conference and say, you know what, I understand why you feel that way, but there's no chance of that bit of your claim being successful. And Department of Education lawyers do that just as much as complainants lawyers. So, there are sometimes benefits in having a lawyer in the room. Now, of course, he would say that because he's a lawyer, but I actually do think that blanket rules about no lawyers are sometimes a bit like the inflexibility about attendance policies, that you've got to use a bit of, you've got to look at the situation in each case rather than just making those judgments. However, if a conciliator made that as a policy, then that's the way some conciliators might operate. I suppose the thing that I would say about how do you know whether there's a lawyer there is that you don't. It's only a problem if the lawyer is there and not speaking. It's really only a problem in causing a power imbalance if you think there's a power imbalance, if you see what I'm saying. So, if you're... I'm not sure how far I'd go down the track of trying to be sure whether or not there's a lawyer there. Things I would do as the complainant would be, I would never have a conciliation, whether it's a telephone or a face-to-face conciliation, without a support person or advocate with me. Just never do that. I don't even do it. I didn't even do it when I ran my rail court complaints, and I'm a human rights lawyer and the commissioner. You go into that situation, and because it's about you and personal, you just need that other person there to give you the little bit of perspective sometimes. So I wasn't a lawyer, but I took a supporter person with me into the conference. So I think you should always do that. You should always know that at any point in a conciliation conference, if you're feeling that the pressure is just too much, you're absolutely entitled to say the pressure's too much. I want a 15-minute break, or I want to come back to this next week, or I don't want to go any further with this conference at this stage. That's always your right. No one's forcing you to stay there. The other thing that you can do during that break, whether it's a 15-minute break or a 7-day break, is that you can consult someone. You can consult a lawyer or another parent who's had a similar experience and bounce it off them and see what they think. So I think rather than getting too caught up on whether or not there's a lawyer at the other end of the phone sitting in a room is perhaps not the right game to be focused on. You're better to be thinking about what your supports are and what and how you can best address the power imbalance. Because the power imbalance is going to exist whether there's a lawyer present or not. So it's just how we minimise it.